The night over Ember Falls didn't feel normal. It felt wrong, like the world had swallowed a secret it couldn't digest. The moon wasn't supposed to be that close. The air wasn't supposed to taste like metal. And 12-year-old Eli Turner wasn't supposed to feel the ground breathing beneath his feet. But he did. He stepped outside barefoot, and the moment his skin touched the porch, the wind died. Not slowed, died. The trees froze mid-sway. The river stopped mid-flow. The horses in the barn pressed themselves against the walls, eyes wide, nostrils flaring. Creation wasn't whispering tonight. Creation was hiding. Eli whispered, "Lord, something's coming." The sky answered, and a streak of white fire ripped across the heavens, then another, not falling, arriving. The ground trembled, the shadows stretched. The air thickened like it was being squeezed by invisible hands. And then they stepped out of the light, tall, radiant, terrifying. Not demons, not men, not anything the world had language for anymore. The Watchers. The same beings Enoch warned about. The angels who abandoned heaven's order, crossed the boundary, and taught humanity the things God never meant for them to know. They landed in the valley with a sound like thunder being strangled. Eli's breath caught, his knees buckled, his spirit screamed. One of the Watchers turned toward him, its eyes glowing like molten gold. "You can hear us." Eli swallowed. "I hear creation. And creation fears us," the Watcher said, stepping closer. "It remembers us." Eli shook his head. "It remembers what you did." The Watcher smiled, a slow, unnatural, predatory smile. "We gave humanity knowledge." "You gave them destruction," Eli whispered. "We gave them power. You gave them giants. We gave them secrets. You gave them judgment." The Watcher's smile faded. "You speak boldly for a child." Eli felt something rise inside him, something ancient, something holy, something that didn't belong to him. "I'm not speaking alone," he whispered. The Watcher's eyes narrowed, and then the atmosphere changed. A wind rose from the east, warm, heavy, intelligent. The trees bowed, the river roared back to life, the moon brightened like a spotlight. The Watcher stepped back, hissing. "He comes." Eli fell to his knees as the valley filled with a presence so thick it felt like gravity doubled. A voice, not loud, not angry, but sovereign, filled the night. "You have returned to corrupt what I created." The Watchers trembled. "You abandoned your posts, you crossed the boundary, you defied my order, and now you seek to repeat the ancient rebellion." The ground shook, the sky pulsed, the valley glowed with holy fire. "But I have a witness in this generation." Eli felt something wrap around him. Not fear, not fire, but authority. A child who listens, a child who sees, a child who will speak what creation speaks. The Watchers recoiled like the words burned them. Eli lifted his head, trembling but steady. "What do you want me to do?" he whispered. The answer came like a sword made of breath. "Warn them. Tell them what Enoch told his generation. Tell them that rebellion opens doors they cannot close. Tell them that forbidden knowledge carries a price. Tell them that I am still God." The Watchers vanished in a burst of shadow and wind, driven back by the presence of the one they betrayed. The valley fell silent. Eli stood slowly, the mantle of a prophet resting on his shoulders like a cloak of lightning. He whispered into the night, "I will warn them. I will speak. I will tell them the truth." Creation answered with a low, resonant hum. The sound of agreement, the sound of alignment, the sound of a world preparing for war. Eli didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the Watchers' faces. Beautiful, terrible, hungry. Every time he breathed, he felt the valley trembling beneath him. Every time he blinked, he saw flashes of things he didn't understand. Cities burning, oceans rising, shadows walking like men. By sunrise, the sky was the wrong color. Not blue, not gray, something in between, like the world was bruised. Eli stepped outside, and the moment his foot touched the ground, he felt it. Creation was restless. The birds weren't singing, the dogs weren't barking, the trees weren't moving, everything was waiting. His grandmother stepped onto the porch behind him, her eyes sharp, her spirit alert. "You saw something last night," she said quietly. Eli nodded. She didn't ask what. She didn't need to. She had the listening gift too, just older, deeper, heavier. "Tell me," she whispered. Eli swallowed. "They came back." Her breath caught. "Who?" "The Watchers." Her hand flew to her mouth, not fear or recognition. She whispered, "Lord, have mercy." Eli continued, voice trembling. "They said humanity invited them with our words, with our rebellion, with our desire for things we weren't meant to know." His grandmother closed her eyes. "That's Enoch's warning. When people crave forbidden knowledge, the Watchers return." Eli nodded. "And God spoke." Her eyes snapped open. "What did he say?" "That I'm supposed to warn them." She stared at him, not like a child, but like a prophet. "Then you will," she said, "because heaven doesn't choose the qualified. Heaven qualifies the chosen." Before Eli could respond, the ground shook. Not like an earthquake, like something woke up beneath the earth. The horses screamed, the dogs howled, the trees bent backward as if pushed by invisible hands. Eli grabbed the railing. "What is that?" His grandmother's face went pale. "They're not alone." A shadow passed overhead. Not a cloud and not a bird. Something massive. Eli looked up, his heart stopped. A giant silhouette moved across the sky. A shape too large to be human, too distorted to be angelic, too ancient to be anything natural. His grandmother whispered, "Oh God, the Nephilim." Eli's knees buckled, but they're gone. They died in the flood. "Not all of them," she whispered. "Some were bound, some were buried, some were waiting." The shadow circled the valley, slow and deliberate, like a predator studying its prey. Eli felt the air tighten around him. "Grandma, what do we do?" She grabbed his shoulders, her voice fierce. "You listen, you obey, you speak what heaven tells you. Because if the Watchers have returned, and if the giants are waking, then the world is about to enter a shaking it has not seen since the days of Noah." The shadow descended lower. The ground trembled harder. The sky darkened. And then Eli heard it. A voice that wasn't human, wasn't angelic, wasn't earthly. A voice that sounded like stone grinding against stone. "Child of dust, you carry the breath of the one we defied." Eli froze. The shadow landed in the valley with a force that shook the mountains. Dust exploded, trees snapped, the river surged backward. When the dust cleared, Eli saw it. A giant, a real giant, not a myth, not a legend, not a story, a Nephilim. Its eyes glowed like dying stars. Its skin was cracked like ancient stone. Its voice rumbled like thunder trapped underground. "You are the witness," it said, "the one heaven marked." Eli's heart pounded so hard he thought it would burst. The giant stepped closer. "You will warn them," it said, "but they will not listen." Eli swallowed. "Why?" The giant leaned down, its breath shaking the earth. "Because humanity loves the forbidden." Eli felt tears burn his eyes. "Then why tell me to warn them?" The giant's expression shifted. Not anger, not mockery, but something like sorrow. "Because heaven always sends a voice before judgment." Eli's grandmother stepped in front of him, trembling but unbroken. "You will not touch him," she said. The giant paused. "You are brave," it said, "but bravery does not stop prophecy." The sky cracked with lightning. The wind roared. The valley shook, and then a voice thundered from the heavens. "Enough!" The giant staggered backward. The Watchers reappeared in a burst of shadow. The earth split open beneath them. A blinding light descended. Holy, fierce, unstoppable, the voice spoke again. "My order will stand. My boundaries will not be crossed. My witness will speak, and creation will testify. The ground swallowed the giant. The watchers vanished in a scream of wind. The valley fell silent. Eli collapsed to his knees, shaking. His grandmother knelt beside him. "Eli," she whispered, "this is only the beginning." He looked up at the sky, breath trembling. "Then I'll speak," he whispered. I'll warn them. I'll tell them everything." And creation answered with a low, resonant hum, the sound of a world preparing for the greatest shaking since the days of Enoch. For 3 days, Ember Falls did not breathe. The sky stayed bruised. The river ran backward. The animals refused to eat. And every night Eli woke up gasping, hearing whispers in languages no human tongue was meant to speak. The watchers were not gone. The giant was not the last. The valley was not safe. On the 4th night, the moon rose blood red, not symbolic and not poetic, literal. Eli stepped outside, and the moment the moonlight touched his skin, he felt it. A pull, a summons, a command, not from the watchers, not from the giants, not from fear, from heaven. His grandmother appeared behind him, breath trembling. "You feel it too," she whispered. Eli nodded. "It's calling me." She swallowed hard. "Then you must go." He turned to her, eyes wide. "Where?" She pointed toward the mountains. "Ashen Ridge." Eli's stomach dropped. Ashen Ridge was the oldest place in Ember Falls. A jagged spine of black rock where lightning struck even on clear days, where compasses spun, where animals refused to go. Locals said it was cursed. His grandmother said it was ancient. Tonight it was alive. Eli walked toward the ridge, each step heavier than the last. The wind pushed against him. The trees leaned away from him. The ground vibrated beneath him. Creation wasn't resisting him. Creation was warning him, but the summons was stronger. When he reached the base of the ridge, the air split open. A figure stepped out of the light. Not a watcher, not a giant, not a man, a messenger. Radiant, terrible, holy. Eli fell to his knees. The messenger spoke, its voice like thunder wrapped in silk. "Rise, witness." Eli stood trembling. "You have seen the watchers," the messenger said. "You have seen the Nephilim. Now you will see the truth." The ridge cracked open like a door. Inside was a cavern, massive, glowing, humming with ancient power. The messenger led him in. At the center of the cavern stood a stone altar covered in markings older than language. Eli whispered, "What is this place?" The messenger answered, "This is where the first watchers descended. This is where they swore their oath. This is where the rebellion began." Eli's heart pounded. "And this," the messenger continued, "is where it will end." Before Eli could speak, the cavern shook. A shadow rose from the far end, tall, twisted, ancient, a second giant, and its eyes burned with hatred. Its voice rumbled like a collapsing mountain. "You again," it growled. "The child heaven marked." Eli stepped back. The messenger stepped forward. "You are bound," it declared. "You have no authority here." The giant laughed, a sound that made the rocks tremble. "Authority?" it roared. "Humanity gave us authority. That their rebellion feeds us. Their pride strengthens us. Their desire summons us." Eli felt the truth of it like a knife. The giant leaned closer. "You think you can warn them? They do not listen. They do not change. They do not fear." Eli swallowed hard. "Then why am I here?" The giant's smile faded. "Because heaven always sends a voice before judgment." The messenger raised its hand, and the cavern filled with blinding light. The giant roared, staggering backward. The messenger spoke. "Eli Turner, witness of this generation, speak." Eli's heart pounded. His throat tightened. His spirit ignited. He opened his mouth. And the words did not come from him. They came through him. "Your time is over," Eli declared. "Your authority is broken. Your rebellion is exposed. Your secrets are revealed. Your influence is ending." The giant screamed, its body cracking like stone under fire. Eli continued, voice rising. Humanity will awaken, a creation will testify, heaven will intervene, and the ancient rebellion will fall. The giant collapsed to its knees. The messenger lifted its hand. A beam of holy fire struck the giant, splitting it in two. The cavern shook, the ridge trembled, the valley roared. When the light faded, the giant was gone. The messenger turned to Eli. "It is done," it said, "but the world is not safe. The watchers still whisper. The giants still stir. Humanity still hungers for the forbidden." Eli swallowed.